In the beautiful village of Okaka, where red dust danced with the wind and old trees whispered secrets, lived a woman called Mama Favor. She was about 42 years with a face marked by worry and hands hardened by struggle. Her only child, Favor, was just 14 years. She was slim, beautiful, and had dreams bigger than the small hut they lived in. Their home was nothing more than a leaking mud house with a cracked roof. When it rained, they had to shift from corner to corner, escaping drops of water that fell from the ceiling like curses. The walls were weak, and the door creaked like an old woman in pain. They had no bed, just a small mat, a few wrappers, and a broken stove Mama Favor used to fry akara every morning before going to the market. Favor helped her mother fry and package the akara in brown paper. Then, with a plastic bowl balanced on her head, she would walk from street to street shouting, "Hot akara. Buy your hot akara." They lived from hand to mouth. One Monday morning, as Mama Favor tried to warm leftover beans, the landlord, Mr. Joseph, arrived. He was an old man, but his voice was as sharp as a razor. "Mama Favor, your rent is 3 months overdue. You think I'm running a charity home? Please, give me just 1 more week," Mama Favor begged, tying her wrapper tighter around her chest. "Your 1 more week has turned into 12. He snapped. "You have 3 days. After that, I will throw your things outside." Favor stood silently, watching the argument. She hated seeing her mother beg. It made her feel small and helpless. Mr. Joseph finally left. Mama Favor sighed deeply and sat on a small wooden stool. "Don't worry, Mama," Favor said gently. "I'll sell more akara tomorrow. Maybe God will remember us." But Mama Favor was not listening. Her mind had started drifting into dark places. 2 days later, Mama Favor went to the market and came back with nothing. No beans. No pepper. No oil. Favor asked her, "Mama, what are we going to sell tomorrow?" But her mother looked at her for a long time, then said, "Don't worry. I have a plan." That night, someone knocked on their door. A man walked in. He was tall, dark-skinned, and well-dressed. His eyes scanned the small room. Mama Favor called him Mr. Felix. "This is my daughter, Favor," she introduced, forcing a smile. The man looked at the young girl. "She is beautiful. Just as you said." Favor felt uncomfortable. She moved closer to the wall, clutching her wrapper. Mama Favor told her, "Go and sleep. We have visitors." Favor obeyed, but she didn't sleep. She listened. Through the cracks in the wall, she heard words like 1 week, 70,000 naira, just for a short time. Her heart pounded. What were they talking about? The next morning, Mama Favor gave her daughter a clean dress and braided her hair with care. "Where are we going?" Favor asked. "To the city," her mother answered. "To stay with someone who can help us." They entered a bus. The journey was long and dusty. When they reached the city, Mama Favor took her to a compound with high walls. Mr. Felix was already waiting. His smile was wide. Favor started to feel afraid. "Mama, are you leaving me here?" Her mother avoided her eyes. "It's just for a short time. You'll be fine. He promised to take care of you. This is the only way we can pay the rent." Tears filled Favor's eyes. "Mama, don't leave me." But Mama Favor walked away. Favor was left behind. The compound looked beautiful from the outside, with flowers planted neatly and a big gate. But inside, it was quiet, too quiet. Mr. Felix took Favor to a room and locked the door behind her. "You'll stay here," he said, placing a cold drink on a table. Your mother has agreed. Favor stared at him, fear eating her heart. What did my mother agree to? He smiled in a way that made her skin crawl. Just behave well, and you won't have any problem. The man left, locking the door. Favor rushed to the window, but it was sealed with iron bars. Her eyes searched for a way out, but all she saw were concrete walls. That night, she cried silently into the pillow. She missed her mother, missed their poor but peaceful home. Her hands shook, and her heart felt like it was breaking into pieces. She remembered her father, who had died years ago. He used to call her his star. Now she felt like a star locked in a dark box. The next day, Mr. Felix brought her food and a new dress. Eat, he said. You'll need strength. Favor looked at the plate. She wanted to reject it, but her stomach growled. After eating, she gathered courage and asked, "Can I call my mother?" "No," he replied sharply. "You'll see her when the time is right." That night, he tried to touch her. She kicked him and ran to the corner, crying. Furious, he shouted, "You better behave. Do you think you're still in your poor village?" But Favor had made a decision. She would not give up. The third day brought someone new, Janet, a girl of about 19 years who walked with grace and had a calm voice. "Are you okay?" Janet whispered as she cleaned the room. Mr. Felix had brought her to help. Favor nodded slowly. "Please help me. I don't belong here." Janet looked at her for a long moment, then said quietly, "I was once like you. He brings girls here and locks them. Some don't leave." Favor's eyes widened. Janet touched her arm. "But I escaped once. I came back to help others. I'll help you too. But we must be careful." Favor finally felt a spark of hope. Back in the village, Mama Favor was smiling for the first time in months. She had paid the rent in full and even bought a new wrapper. She lied to the neighbors, saying Favor had gone to serve a rich aunt in the city. But every time she looked in the mirror, guilt stared back. She heard Favor's voice in her dreams, "Mama, don't leave me." Still, she told herself, "I did it for survival. For both of us." She didn't know her action would soon come back to haunt her. Janet taught Favor how to move silently, how to hide keys under her wrapper, and how to read the times Mr. Felix left the house. One night, Janet brought her a phone. "Call your mother," she said. Favor dialed the number with trembling fingers. "Mama," she whispered. Mama Favor froze on the other end. "Favor, are you okay?" "Mama, why did you leave me there? I'm not safe." Her mother went silent. Cried into the phone. "I want to come home." But her mother didn't know what to say. Then she whispered, "Be patient. Just hold on, my daughter." Before could say more, Mr. Felix came in. She quickly dropped the phone. Janet hid it under the bed. A week later, Janet revealed something else. "There's a hidden door behind the kitchen," she said. "I used it once. It leads outside. But how can we reach it?" Favor asked. "We'll wait for the night he gets drunk. That's when his guard is down." It was a risky plan, but it was the only chance. They prepared for 2 nights, hiding bread and water in a bag, tying wrappers tightly to move freely. Then the opportunity came. Mr. Felix came back drunk and careless. He dropped his keys, staggered to his room, and left the doors unlocked. Janet and Favor rushed to the kitchen, pushed the old cupboard, and found the door. They opened it slowly. Freedom smelled like cold air and silence. They ran into the night, but someone saw them, the gatekeeper. "Hey. Where are you going?" Janet grabbed a stone and threw it. They didn't stop. They ran through bush paths and dusty roads, not looking back. When they finally reached the bus stop, Janet whispered, "We made it." A woman selling roasted corn noticed the girls crying and asked what happened. After hearing their story, she took them in and gave them food. "My name is Madame Doris," she said. "You're safe now. We'll go to the police tomorrow." The next morning, Madame Doris took them to the police station. Mr. Felix was arrested a week later. He had many cases already, but no one had ever escaped to tell the story until now. The court was full of people the day Mr. Felix was brought in. News had spread that a man who locked girls and used them like animals had been caught. Favor and Janet sat beside Madame Doris. They were safe now, but their hearts beat fast. Favor held Janet's hand tightly. The judge entered. The people stood. The case began. Mr. Felix wore a fine suit and dark glasses, but he looked like a devil hiding behind human skin. The prosecutor said, "This man has been locking girls in his house, using them, and throwing them away. Some have not been found." The judge asked, "Where are the girls who escaped?" Favor stood up. Her voice was shaking, but she said clearly, "I am one of them." She told the full story. Janet told her own too. The courtroom was silent. Some women in the crowd were crying. The judge looked at Mr. Felix. "Do you have anything to say?" Mr. Felix laughed. "These girls are liars. Their mothers gave them to me." Everyone turned and looked at Favor. Then, the judge said, "Bring in the mother." Mama Favor had been arrested too. The police found her through the phone call. She was shaking as she entered the courtroom. Her wrapper was old and her face pale. The judge asked her, "Did you give your daughter to this man?" Mama Favor began to cry. I had no choice. We had no money, no home. He promised he would help her and pay her school fees." The judge slammed the table. "So you sold her?" Favor cried. "Mama, how could you?" The woman knelt and cried loudly. "Forgive me, my daughter. I was foolish. I thought it was just to help. I didn't know." But the damage had been done. The case continued for weeks. More girls came forward. Mr. Felix's secrets were no longer secrets. He had hurt many children. The police found some of them in other cities. Some had died. Others had run mad. Finally, the judge gave judgment. To Mr. Felix, he said, "You will spend the rest of your life in prison." To Mama Favor he said, "You will serve 5 years for child trafficking and neglect." Favor screamed, "No. Please. She's still my mother." But the judge said, "A mother is supposed to protect, not destroy." Madame Doris took Favor and Janet home. She treated them like her own daughters. They went back to school. Slowly, their laughter returned. Favor would sometimes cry at night. She missed her mother, even with all the pain. One day, she received a letter from prison. It was from Mama Favor. "My daughter. Every day, I cry for what I did to you. I see your face in my dreams, and I remember the trust one broke. I was selfish. I wanted to pay rent but lost something greater, your trust, your joy. Please forgive me, even if I don't deserve it. Love, your mother." Favor wept and hugged the letter to her chest. 2 years later, Favor went to the prison to visit her mother. Mama Favor looked older. Her hands were thin, and her eyes were always red. My daughter, she whispered, reaching through the bars. Favor touched her hand. I forgive you, Mama. Tears rolled down both their cheeks. Thank you, Mama Favor cried. You saved my soul. They sat there for a long time, not saying much, just holding each other with tears and silence.